Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming today for this great event. We introduce head coach Brennan Marion. I'm Brian Berger, the Associate AD for Communications. We welcome everyone watching on ESPN+. Quick order show today will be President Wood will speak first, followed by our Director of Athletics, Mark Orr, who will then introduce Coach Marion. He'll speak, and then we'll open it up for questions. So media with questions, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you so the question can be heard on the stream, and we will go from there. And here's President Luke Wood.
All right, everyone. Good to see you this morning. We are very excited today to be welcoming our new head football coach, Brennan Marion, to Sacramento State. We are very excited about everything right now that's happening with our athletics programs and particularly with football. In my impression, we just hired the best coach in the country, and Sacramento State is on the rise. So if you look at what's been happening in terms of athletes who are coming to Sacramento State, in terms of what we're doing with our athletic facilities, the leadership we have in place, both in terms of our athletic director and our coach, nothing but great things to come for next season and for seasons beyond that. I just want to say that, as an institution, we have a lot of priorities. Obviously, we have an academic mission, but tied to that academic mission is athletics, in that it oftentimes serves as the front door to the university, something that we have to keep in mind. It is a place where people who are interested in learning more about the university are engaged. It's where our alumni are engaged. It's where donors who are interested in contributing to the university come through. So we will be leaning into athletics as an effort to lean into the future of Sacramento State. And with that, I'll turn it over to our athletic director, Mark Orr.
Thank you, President Wood, and what a wonderful day for Hornet Athletics in Sacramento State. And I couldn't be more thrilled to introduce our next head football coach. First, before I do so, there's a few thank yous. First and foremost, I want to thank President Wood. His leadership, his alignment with athletics, with our university, with our students is second to none. I've been an athletic director for over 20 years, and I've never have had worked with a president like President Wood. And I certainly couldn't appreciate him more. I also want to thank members who participated in the search. Andy Fisk, Brian Berger, our Human Resources Office. I see Melanie Richardson back there, Michelle Martin, our Vice President for Human Resources. Those folks have spent lots of time, over holidays, working with us to identify the very best coach in the country. So we're excited about that. I also want to say thank you to Sheena Betancourt, who also worked tirelessly to make all this happen. So I appreciate all those involved with the search process and helping us identify our next head coach. Also, first and finally, I want to thank our student athletes on the football team. Their patience, their trust in me, in President Wood, in our senior leadership team, in identifying our next head coach. Some of the qualities they shared they were looking for in our next head coach: innovation, energy, national connections and recruiting, being able to gauge with the student athletes. I am very, very proud to say to our student athletes on our football team that we checked all the boxes, and I couldn't be more excited. Coach Marion has been successful every step of the way in his journey. From his time as a football student athlete, high school, to his time as a junior college student athlete, right here at De Anza Junior College in the Bay Area. Had an All-American junior college career. Tulsa, goes on and plays Division I football at Tulsa, where he's a record-breaking wide receiver and was successful. He had an opportunity to play in an NFL with the Miami Dolphins. He has been successful through his playing career. His coaching career started right here in California, St. Patrick, St. Vincent High School in Vallejo. And in his journey, went from high school to coaching at an HBCU, Howard University, one of the most respected programs in the country with Coach Mike London, to Pitt, to Texas, University of Texas, with the great Steve Sarkisian, to most recently as the offensive coordinator at UNLV. And every step of the way, he has been successful as a coach, which led him here today. I was also really impressed with how he handled adversity and how he handled challenges in his journey. And every challenge he's had, he's been able to overcome, and he's truly earned this opportunity to lead his own program. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be successful as the Hornets head coach. And I can't tell you how proud I am to welcome Coach Marion, his lovely wife here, Maddie, to the Hornet family. So with that said, I'd like to introduce our 13th head football coach here at Sacramento State, Coach Brennan Marion. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here. For a long time, I always tell people that I'm really here by the grace of God, and I'm really grateful to God to be in this position. I'm thankful to President Wood and Athletic Director Mark Orr. They came and treated me first class, came out to Vegas to see me, and I knew that they were serious about, taking the football to the next level because of the way that they, presented themselves to me. And this opportunity, and I'm just really grateful for this opportunity to be here as the head football coach. I want to thank my wife, my former players, the staff that's here working now. These guys have been working, all night long, getting players here and bringing in the right student athletes to help us be successful. And I'm just really grateful for all the people that got me throughout this journey: mom, dad, coaches, brothers, all the people that have, really, stood me on their shoulders to get me here. So I'm grateful in those rights, and I can't thank them enough to be in this position and opportunity that I have right now, currently in front of me. Really, for me, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Football started for me at a young age, at 5 years old. I've always, with my kids, I ask them what they want to do, and they always say they don't know. I knew at 5 years old that I wanted to be really great in football and wanted to be a football coach. I would run around, tell my little league coach what plays he should call, and he would laugh at me, and I'd have the kids practice the plays on the side after, like, we could run this, coach, it'll work, and he would always laugh. But, when I got into coaching, a lot of my friends from Little League and coaches, they were like, we always knew that you would be a coach because, just for me, I've always been a football nerd. I remember writing down every single player that would get drafted, putting them in the video game, creating playbooks, all those things. Every little part of football was very important to me. And so I love football. I love the game and everything that comes with it, the coaching elements of it, the player relationship piece of it. Bringing people together that have a common goal and then achieving things and then going on and doing the next things. And so we talk about in our program, one great year can change your life. And what that means is really just locking in and coming together, having a common goal and then going to win and doing everything it takes. Like Mark talked about, adversity-wise, whatever it takes to get it done, regardless of what the adversity is. We don't see adversity, we see opportunity, and we take each chance that we given to find a solution to go win and get it done. And so that's what our program's going to be about. The young men that we're bringing here and what our program is going to stand for is really just three things: heart, intelligence, and toughness. The heart part of it is we want to look for people that have great character, that have a purpose in what they're doing, they have a why, a story, and that most importantly, that they love the game. I feel like if you love the game, then you'll have great obedience and discipline and accountability to go get things done the way that they need to get done in a first-class manner and be excellent at it. People that love something, right, they're going to pour their heart and soul into it to get it done. And so the heart of our team is going to be about loving football. We're going to have guys that have great stories, who have came adverse situations like myself. I come from a single mom and, all those things. I had all those reasons and excuses to not be successful, but we found a way to go get it done by coaches, by teachers, by administrators who poured into me and believed in me. And so that's what our coaching staff is looking for right now. We're getting the best and brightest student athletes from around the country to come here to Sacramento. And then we're retaining our players here currently, the student athletes that we have currently here. We're retaining them, the ones that want to be here and be a part of building something special. I tell them you can either watch us win or win with us, right? So we're going to win. That's what we're about. That's the most important thing, and we all know that. It's not about our ideas and thoughts. It's about our execution and our results, and we'll be a result-based program from that standpoint. Intelligence, to me, what intelligence means for our program is guys that are going to find the solution, okay? You don't have to be the smartest guy. You just have to be willing to go get the answer, right? And if you have to ask 100 people and get 99 no's, if you get that one yes to get you the answer, that's what our program's going to be about. We want young men that make an impact in the academic world as well, not just on the football field. We're going to, one of the first things that me and Jenna Polk talked about is, upping our academic standard and how we are going to make sure that we're over a 3.0 GPA for semester GPAs and get guys graduated. We don't want to just have great football players on the field. We want them to be great in the classroom as well. Thankful that I had administrators and teachers that told me that I had to do something great in athletics as well, because how you do anything is how you do everything. We don't want to just be excellent on the football field. We want to be excellent in the classroom as well. Then lastly is toughness. I think anytime you're dealing with young men, as a man, you're to be a provider for your family and the group of people around you. We're going to teach our guys, no matter how they feel, they have to wake up every day, compete, give their best. And ultimately, it takes a tough person to do that, right? A lot of people, we know the people that give up. We don't remember the people that give up. We remember the people that kept going. And so for our guys, toughness will be a big deal for us, mental, physical, and spiritual toughness. That will be an element of our program that we're focused on and making sure one of the toughest playing teams in the United States. As far as our football, we're going to be an exciting brand of football here. What we do is schematically, on offense, defense, and special teams, we're going to be really exciting, explosive, a lot of big plays to get people excited about coming to the games. We're going to be a run-the-ball football team, a 21 personnel. We use a fullback, okay, old school, make football great again. We're going to really run the ball and throw it over people's head a lot. Okay, that's what we're into. And then on defense, we're going to be about takeaways, taking the ball, sacks, big plays, standing up with our fist up, get off the field, right? Be a lot of big plays on defense. And then special teams, we're going to score on special teams. We're going to be about scoring and putting our best players on special teams, right? So the Jordan Addisons of the world that I coach, Xavier Worthies, Ricky Whites, those players that, people know them for what they did offensively. They also made a huge impact on special teams for us when they played for me. And our best players will be on special teams, even if that's a quarterback. We'll do whatever it takes to be great on special teams and make sure we can go win games because of our special teams units. Lastly, okay, we are a development program, and really one of the things that's most important to me is that everybody who touches the student athletes in our program is trying to give them their absolute best. We want to make sure we feed the players the best, they travel the best, they wear the best gear, right? And that takes support. And we'll need everybody's support here to get that done. But we are going to be a development program in creating value and growth within our players. And so everybody who touches our players is going to make sure that they have the absolute best in everything that they have. I know as a player, you always know who's all in for you, and you know who's really fighting to get you the things that the players need. Obviously, the players and student athletes here, the reason why we can build better buildings and we can play games on TV, it's because of the work that they put in every day, and we have to put that work back into them and making sure that we have everything that they need to be successful as young men in athletics. And so for us, as we build that, right, and they're getting all the things that they need, and they're getting NIL and all these things that are in today's football, we want to make sure that they're also serving the community. Right now, we're in a big look at me society with Twitter, Instagram, and it's all about you, and their parents and trainers and everybody who's just telling them how great they are. We want to make sure that they're in the community and making an impact in our community. Sacramento's a great city, and there's a lot of young people looking up to them, and we want to make sure that they're out in the community giving back, not just taking. We want to be a program that's about givers. So we want our young men to go give in the community and show that they are grateful for the rewards that they receive for being student athletes here at Sacramento State. I want to close this out, just talking about how grateful I am, because I truly stand up here with a grateful heart, humble, but I'm also hungry. We are a program that's going to be seeking championships. We're after championships. We're about winning in everything that we do. We're going to be excellent in the community and athletics, and then on the field. The ultimate goal is to lift up a trophy with confetti falling down, okay, at the end of every season, that we get an opportunity to play football. And so whether we're in the Big Sky, FBS, Power 4, wherever we go, we want to be about winning championships and, playing at the highest level. Thank you.
We'll open it up for questions now. Just raise your hand. Joe Davidson. Introduce yourself too, please, so Coach Marion knows who you are.
Hi, Coach. Joe Davidson, Sacramento. It'll be good to talk to you on the phone a couple weeks
How you
ago.
doing,
One of
Joe?
the things I forgot to ask you was the cowboy hat. Where'd that come from? You wear it with pride. And also, can you talk about how fast you guys have hit the ground running with your staff and recruiting? And I'm sure it's been 100 miles an hour.
Absolutely. So I just sold my ranch about a year ago. I had a ranch in Pennsylvania. When I was coaching there at Pitt, I bought a ranch. I always wanted to buy a ranch. I was blessed as a kid. I grew up in the city in the, from fall to summer. And then the summer I went to Virginia with grandma, and would be like where you had to get water from the well, go to the bathroom in the outhouse, live in a trailer. So, got to have like a Huckleberry Finn experience. So I've always been a little bit country, a little bit city. I was always in the cowboy boots, but when I got to the University of Texas, I was sitting there with Matthew McConaughey one day, and his hat was really, his hat was like, I was like, man, I need to get one of them cowboy hats. And, and so I got into the cowboy hats. He told me which ones, the good ones to buy. So this is a beaver one right here. So, got the good cowboy hats and got that rolling at the University of Texas. And then as far as, bringing in the players that we're bringing in and guys that want to be here, it's about people. It's a people business at the end of the day. And we brought in great coaches that have great relationships around the country, and players want to be a part of that. This weekend we have 28 players that have signed sight unseen. They have signed sight unseen without even being to Sacramento. Some of them have never even been to the state of California, and they have signed. And these have been guys that have made an impact, started, played at other universities around the country, and high school prospects that have been 3-, 4-star recruits, and they're here to come because of the coaching staff that we've put in place. And that really starts with President Wood. When I said, he said, what do you need to be here? I said, well, I need a great coaching staff, and it costs, So he was able to do that for us, and now that's why you see the results of, great student athletes coming here to play.
Hello, Coach. How's it going? Kevin John, ABC 10. Welcome to Sacramento. Love the cowboy hat.
That's right.
My question to you, just kind of to piggyback off of that, since they announced your hiring here, we've seen over a dozen FBS players want to come to Sac State and FCS school, obviously because there's big plans here for the future and whatnot. How are you so efficient and effective at being able to get that many student athletes, commit that quickly? And then I guess my second question on the top of that is, what is the main thing about, Sac State that really attracted you and was like, I want to go here and, make this an incredible program?
Yeah, so the first question on acquiring players so fast or student athletes so fast, really it's just the relationship thing. I think if you treat one player right, and players see how I've treated other players in the past, they know that when we talk about one great year can change your life, and we talk about we're going to do the absolute best for you, and we're going to coach you as hard as we possibly can and develop you, they've seen that already happen so many times. And, when you're an assistant coach, unfortunately, I say I wasn't a great assistant coach, just from the standpoint that you're handicapped as an assistant coach. You have to ask permission first, or you have to kind of wait for somebody else's response to getting players. When you're the head coach, I don't have to really ask for that, and so I can get more players. And so that's how we've been able to acquire players, just on our coaches' relationships where they've been in the past and the people that they are, and then also just the relationships that I have. I tell my players that played for me, we'll have players that will come to the game that I coached at. We have Sid on our staff. I coached him at Harker Academy in San Jose in 2012. Right? So when I say coach, I mean for the rest of your life, I'm coach. Recommendation letter, wedding, whatever you need, I'm coach forever. So have a great relationship with players, and that other players see that, and they know that, okay, Coach Marion will have my back. The second thing about coming to Sacramento, when we came to a camp here 2 years ago, we drove around the campus, and I was like, man, this place is like, you could really do some things here. You got all the things here to be successful. The media market here. The opportunity in this city to be the only standing team, the only football team, the biggest show in town. And then President Wood, I saw a video of him getting like hyphy at a graduation, and I was like, yeah, me and him can really get along. Like we can really, like the environment that's already been kind of created here. It's important to me to be, want to be comfortable in your own skin. And this is one place that I could be myself. Wear my cowboy hat and be different, and be a place that really supported football. I know in Sacramento, the football players that have came from here in the past, there's a football tradition here where people really love football, great football players, and I know we could have a really good program here. And then obviously I got to give it up to Coach Troy, what he built here at this program, winning 3 championships. Obviously we're not too far off the mark. So, that's why Sacramento State.
Larry Hicks, Sacramento Observer. Talk a little bit about this recruiting of players. We're in the NIL era. We're in the transfer portal area. You've had some experience at Vegas where your starting quarterback left after game 3. Can you just talk about your feelings about that, how you're going to manage that?
Specifically speaking about that situation, first off, I love that young man. I think he did a really good job for us and put us in a position to go be ranked, and we were 3-0. And, it was just unfortunate the advice that he received was for him to obviously exit the program. But, nothing but great things about Matt and what he did for us at UNLV. The situation was unfortunate, but that's the type of world that we are in. At UNLV the year before, we lost our quarterback, and now he's the starting quarterback at UNLV. And so anytime you're talking about in a value market where players can, obviously for their name, image, and likeness, get paid, which I think the players do deserve to be paid for what they do on the field. Me personally, being a football player who, thought I was going to play so many years in the NFL and was a college star, I tore my ACL, and my knee was never right. And I didn't, I got a little bit of money from the NFL, but my career is never really what I wanted to be in the NFL due to injury. So there's a lot of guys who have played this game at a high level who never received anything but, their degree, which is obviously that's a big deal. But there's people who've made a lot of universities a lot of money on their skill set and what they've done on the field and not received anything. So I do believe in NIL and making sure players do receive financial compensation for their skill set. And so we're going to be about that and making sure players earn it and they serve the community for it. But we're not going to be frivolous about that, but we're also going to make sure that if you do really well here, you do get compensated for your play on the field.
You mentioned assembling a good coaching staff. How does the holdover staff play into that?
Well, we kept Bobby, we kept K. Rich. K. Rich is the mayor in Sacramento. Bobby is the mayor of Sacramento State. So we got 2 really good guys that have no ego, right? Really the first staff that I wanted to hire, it could have been a lot of different people. The men that I chose were men that were about serving young men and making sure they're successful, and they're about winning and however they have to win. So we have guys with, that coach from high school, junior college, FBS, NFL experience. We have guys a little bit the whole spectrum there. And the reason why I put this collective group of men together is because they're low on ego and high on player development, high on finding a way to go win. K. Rich has been invaluable, Bobby as well. We kept Chris Perry. Obviously, he helped build a championship roster here. So it's not about throwing away great people. We want to have great people that it can affect change in young men and serve them, and then help us win a championship. And I think that we kept the right people here to do that.
Coach Jake Gaden from CBS 13, two-parter for you. First, how much did the transition of what the school's trying to do to move from FCS to FBS interest you in coming to Sacramento State, along with the $50 million NIL that's been pledged? And then for President Wood and Mark, if you guys could provide an update on any stadium updates, on if anything has moved forward with that at all.
Yeah, so as far as that being a determining factor, I don't know if that would be a determining factor for me to come here. It was one of the reasons. I think anytime you look at it, if you're a competitor, right, and you've seen yourself go, I just used my own personal story. I went from high school to junior college to Division I, then to the NFL, right? You want to be at a place that's hungry to go get to the highest level. And anytime you talk about saying we're going to go FCS to FBS and try to get to be one of the top tier programs, if you're a real competitor, you want that. You seek that. And so to me, that's very important that we're hungry and we're trying to do everything possible to go compete at the highest level. And then also with the NIL piece, that's obviously going to get us the best possible players in the nation to come to Sacramento and help us win championships and serve the community. So that was big for me in my decision making as well.
Jake, I want to make sure the stadium update. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting, especially since Brennan has joined us. So we're excited to keep moving forward. We have a conceptual design process taking place. Populous is working and continue to work with folks on campus to get a design and a stadium that's going to make sense for Sacramento and Sacramento State. So that process is ongoing. I can't be more thrilled with the enthusiasm we've seen from just stakeholders all over our community, from donors to corporate partners to our students to our student athletes. So while you may not have seen things released, there is a lot of work happening behind the scenes, and I couldn't be more excited. I would stay tuned for announcements coming forward in the next several weeks, but there's a lot of work happening behind the scenes, and we couldn't be more excited of the concepts we're considering.
Right in the middle, Coach Marion, Andrew Martin, Fox 40 Sacramento. Welcome to town. You talked about going back to an old school football approach, right, using a fullback throwing over the top. People know you as the innovator of the go-go offense. Can you just explain what that is and how you created the hashtag on social media that kind of went viral?
Yeah, so in 2010, I got my first opportunity to coach at James Logan High School in Union City. And really there, we had so much talent on the team that we just called any play and it worked, until we played De La Salle, and then it didn't work. But everybody else it worked on. And so really didn't have to think too much. Really, my first year of coaching was about mentorship, helping guys. I had a lot of kids living with me, bad situations from Oakland, Richmond, San Francisco. That's when I really fell in love with just coaching and, just the part of like helping, just being there to, really help guys, change their lives in that way. The scheme part of it wasn't a big deal for me there. And then I went to Harker Academy in San Jose in 2012. I got hurt in the CFL, and I came back to San Jose to raise my daughter. And so when I was back there at Harker, we had a lot of Asian and Indian kids from affluent backgrounds that had not played football, right? So it was their first time ever playing football. And so that's when I really started studying and thinking, like, how can we come up with something, to go beat teams that are going to be a lot better than us, right? Have guys that have been playing football since they were little kids all the way up. And, I started to study film, and that's when I really started coming up with these ideas. Really what I did was I saw something old and then I made it in a new way. And really, I was blessed to be with the innovator and Gus Malzahn when I was at the University of Tulsa. He was kind of like the up-tempo, spread, no-huddle guy. He kind of made that kind of like his deal and famous in college football, and obviously won a national championship at Auburn with Cam Newton with that. And so I saw how he went from a high school coach to college, and he created kind of his own thing, and that really gave me the confidence to try to create something else. And so then in 2013, I got the job at St. Patrick, St. Vincent, and Vallejo. And really, there were 7 people in my first meeting. They had just came off of a scandal that happened there before I got there. Nobody wanted the job. I was young and dumb enough to take the job at 25. And I said, yeah, I'll take the job. And they said, well, you only got 7 kids. I was like, how are we going to make a team with 7 kids? And they're like, well, if you can't, you can just be a teacher, recruit the little Catholic schools around and the small Catholic schools around, and we'll get a team together the next year. And I was like, no way, we got to have a team. So we got from 7 to 45 kids, and that's when we really went full into the go-go offense, as what people know as now. So I started off in high school, and I put the 2 running backs on the same side, really, which was like the old school far and near formation from the West Coast offense. We just did it out of shotgun, and then we put all the triple option runs and, shots and going up tempo and different things. And so, you fast forward, I went to Waynesboro High School in Pennsylvania, another school that was 0-10. I remember when I took the job, crazy story, a kid said, Coach, you're way too good for here. Why did you come here? That's what one of the kids said in the crowd. I was like, man, this is about to be bad. Yeah. So we won the conference championship the first year, and we were one of the top offenses in the state of Pennsylvania, running what everybody knows now as the go-go offense. And so I said, when I get the opportunity in college one day, I'm going to run the offense. And Mike London, he was at the University of Virginia. Me and his son Brandon played on the Miami Dolphins together. And so when I first got to Waynesboro, they had been 0-10 for a long time, right? And so they just never had a winning season in school history. And so I was like, Coach, can we get into your 7-on-7 camp? My team's not very good. This is like DeMatha, Gonzaga. Like, these are like the good teams on the East Coast. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to let us in this 7-on-7. He said, yeah, come on, bring your team. And so we got to the championship bracket. We ended up losing in the championship bracket. And he's like, one day, man, I'm going to hire you. And I'm going to hire you to run that offense that you're running. And I just ran the plays that we ran normally in practice every day and in games. And so he got the head coaching job at Howard in D.C. And really only knew Howard for the stars like Taraji and Nick Cannon, like all those people that they talk about the stars. And, I didn't know anything about Howard University. All I asked Coach London was, are they Division I? He was like, yeah, they're FCS Division I. Well, we can. And I was like, I'll be on the plane tomorrow. I didn't ask how much he would pay or anything like that. I'm like, if you want me to take the job, I'll take the job. I'll be there if I can be the offense coordinator. And so he made me the offense coordinator there. And then the first game of the season, right, we had the biggest upset in college football history. But in practice during the summer, you could hear where we practiced at the go-go music, right? Like that's the big culture in D.C. And I was asking my mom, like, what's D.C. known for? And she was like, go-go music. She used to go there and I'm like, I have no clue about D.C. And, and everybody would be playing like go-go music as you walk down the street, Florida Avenue. And so when we won against, ironically, UNLV, we had the biggest upset in college football history as 45-point underdogs. And we won the game. It kind of just took off as the go-go offense. But it was really something that started at Harker Academy in San Jose.
Any other questions? Front, Jack.
Hi, Jack Freeman, State Hornet. I wanted to ask you, you've been really active in the transfer portal. How are you pitching Sac State to these kids? Just like, what's your pitch to them, basically?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about opportunity. We talk about creating value for yourself. We talk about development. We talk about growth. We talk about the opportunity to do something historical. We talk about one great year can change your life. The way that we recruit, we were going to take elite high school prospects that can play year one, whether that be on special teams or starters on offense or defense. We recruit junior college players. And then we recruit transfer portal players, and we use an NFL model when we when we go into the transfer portal. It doesn't matter if they're NAIA, Division II, FCS, FBS, Power 4. We take the best players that can fill our roster and help our needs. And the thing about how we're bringing the guys here is really just those simple things about opportunity, growth, value. And then, I always send them President Wood's video of him at graduation and the environment that we have here. And kids want to be a part of that. So many times now people think that kids don't want to work hard or they're different and they're unique, and they are. They do have a different way of doing it than when I was, I grew up military, and my mom said, you better do whatever the coach says or I'm going to spank you. It was like, yes, ma'am, I'm going to do whatever the coach says. But these kids, if you play music, if you create a type of environment where they like to be there and they're happy to be there, they'll do all the same work and have all the same habits that we did when we played, and they're willing to do all those things. And so I think kids know that we're going to create an environment and have a type of energy that's different than any other program in the nation. And so they want to be a part of that because they get the opportunity to build and be at the forefront of that.
Coach, in your history, does it take a while for your new team to learn the go-go? I'm sure with spring ball coming up in a couple of months, and have you talked to some of the existing players, Carson Conklin, your quarterback here from last year? Are they excited about it? Have they seen it on film?
Yeah, my man Carson, I got a good story about Carson already. He goes, he sent me a player. He said, Coach, we got to work on recruiting, right? This is like the first day I got the job, got announced as the job. So I texted him. I waited. We talked a little bit. I waited a week, and I said, "Are we recruiting good enough for you?" And then he said, "Yeah, Coach, you got it. You got it, Coach. You got it." So we're recruiting at a high level, obviously. And then what was your question again, Joe?
Does it take a while to implement a new offense, something with fullbacks and all that stuff, or are they pretty receptive in your history of introducing the go-go?
No, we put it in, so we have old school terminology like the old school West Coast where we teach the kids the full 2 sentences of a play so they know what every single thing of the play means. And we really, we're elite teachers in the fact that we're trying to make sure they don't miss a step. We have an A to Z process and we don't skip a letter. A, B, C, we hit everything that they need to know. And then as we get to summertime and the fall, we put everything in a one word because these kids love to have one word plays, and we use their terminology and we create families and categories so where they're able to learn fast and pick up the play. So they know exactly what the coach wants, what it should look like, and then we put it in a one word it's their terminology, it's their words, it's their signals. So then they have the accountability back on them to not mess up and to know the plays. And obviously it's been successful at every stop doing it that way.
Talk about how President Wood and athletics director Orr recruited you, and did you have other head coaching opportunities?
Yeah, so football, when you're successful in football, obviously opportunities come about. There was opportunities during the season that came up for me. A lot of universities didn't like the fact that I wanted to finish out the season at UNLV. I just thought that I promised the kids that we would go do something great. When I say one great year can change your life, that means the completion of the year, not halfway through the year. And so I wanted to make sure that I gave those kids everything I had and finished the season and not just, took a job when there was still, some schools offered me a job when there was 4 or 5 games left in the season. So it was I can't do that to the kids. I got to finish the season. That's not right for me to do that. And so the way that President Wood and Mark recruited me now, that they, I say Coach Sark is the best recruiter I've ever been around, Coach Sarkisian at Texas. And the reason why I went to the University of Texas is because we finished the season at Pitt. We were ACC champions. It was a long season. And I hadn't seen my kids for a while. And I said, the first thing I do when this game is over, we played the Peach Bowl. The first thing I'm doing, all the guys that wanted to interview me or bring me in, I said, I'm going to see my kids. So if y'all are flying to California, if you can do a Zoom call, I'll entertain the job. If not, I just probably won't take the job. And there were some big-time jobs that were on the table. And I said, I'm going to see my kids first. So what Sark did, he said, where are you going to be at? I said, the Peach Bowl's in Atlanta. The next day, he was in Atlanta. He was like, I'll be outside. I'll be here. Tell me where you want to go eat. And that's why I took the job at the University of Texas, his recruiting strategy like that. And so with President Wood and Mark, we talked on a Tuesday, and Wednesday he was in Vegas. And so I said, he's serious. So me and Mark had a great interview for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We sat there at a nice little restaurant in Vegas, It was great. We talked about one of the things that really connected us, that me and him were on the same page on, when I was like, this is probably the place for me. He talked about player development and caring about the student athletes aside from just football. Obviously, when you're in football, everybody just talks about football, football, football. That's really the easy part, you know. And so when he talked about player development and making sure the student athletes were okay while they were here and then while they left and setting them up for life, I was like, that's my guy right there. I can get down with that. And so he said he was going to talk to President Wood. President Wood had commencement. You know, there was a lot going on. And then President Wood was like, I'll be there on Friday. And so he came. We went to a nice restaurant, and we were just, our life stories kind of similar, matching up. The way that he cared about, you know, the development of the university and developing student athletes. And we just hit it off. And it was kind of just like, boom, I want to be there. And so that's really, you know, that's when I say they were first class. I'm talking about, like, they do it the right way. Unfortunately, a lot of universities just want you to just get on the plane, leave your team in the middle of practice, in the middle of I don't operate that way. And they were able to accommodate me and come to Vegas. And, you know, obviously I'm grateful that they came.